What's up, everyone? Welcome. So, I didn't want to do a countdown video for the 1,000,000 subscriber. I wanted to do a video before I did that, which is why I did the Rolling Stones video yesterday, which I've been waiting to hit the 1,000,000 subscribers to do that. And I appreciate all the congratulations I'm seeing there. Thank you, everyone. It's all because of you guys. I don't mean that in any kind of a sappy way or anything. But it's been quite a journey. By the way, I have a discount code for today, 30% off anything in my store. The code is just RB1. It's that simple, RB1, 30% off. If you want to support the channel, that's how you do it. My Rolling Stones video didn't get taken down, but it was demonetized, as they all are. I still only have one video that's down. I put a post on Twitter that addressed my second takedown of my Fleetwood Mac video, which was... so I tweeted towards Lindsey Buckingham, L. Buckingham. If any of you want to tweet anything about that, please feel free, or look on my Twitter or follow me there. Oh, follow me on Instagram. I put guitar stuff on Instagram all the time, and I know a lot of you don't like Instagram. They're like, I don't like Instagram, but I'm trying to get to 100,000 followers on Instagram, and I really find that that's an interesting place. There's a whole art form that goes along with that. And I've been doing a lot of guitar videos on there over the past 6 months or so, and it's Rick Beato 1 is my Instagram. I know I saw you guys, Instagram sucks and everything, but come on. I know Instagram is Instagram, but there's actually a lot of great stuff that goes on Instagram, especially geared towards the guitar. Well, geared towards everything, honestly. It's cool. I mean, I use it for a very specific thing. Thank you, Dropkick Chester. American Jesus, Bad Religion. I will do a Bad Religion. What makes this song great? For those of you that are new to the channel, I've had 100,000 subscribers over the past month. And then, and just to let you know, I started my channel my first video was June 8th of 2016. And thank you, Ro King. And I thought, oh my God, this is a waste of time. I put up my videos and they would get, 1,000 views maybe or something. Maybe not even. And it would kind of be embarrassing a little bit. People would write things in the comments like, James Tillman, thank you very much. I saw that. There you go. I did not ignore it. So people would say, man, your video, you get a great channel. I can't believe nobody watches this. Thank you, Robert. I'm calling out the super chat people. And I'd say, well, my channel's only been up for a couple months, and there's, what are you going to do? It's nothing you can do. Just do your best always. I had a guy that has a channel called Piano Around the World, Doten, who's a great guy. And he wrote to me when I had about 4,000 subscribers, and he said, he was at about 40-something thousand. He said, I watch one of your videos, and then I watched more of your videos, and they're really great. And I was talking to him. I said, "What? Tell me about YouTube. You've had these videos that have millions of views." And he said that, oh yeah, those are just flukes when they happen or something like that. And he said, just keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, Mark. Just keep doing what you're doing. People will pick up on it eventually. And I say, you are you sure? Thank you, Poop Pooper. Poop Pooper. I love that. I was like, all right. And I tell everybody I read all the comments. When I say read all the comments, I probably read, in reality, 98% of the comments. I read every comment on the Rolling Stones video that I put out yesterday. and I read them and I respond. I don't respond to everyone, obviously. I don't have time to do that, but because I'm making videos for here. But I try to respond to as many of them as I can. I think that, thank you, Peter. I think that the connection that you make between the live stream here, thank you, Walt. I've not worked with the producers ever here from Atlanta. This is really the place on Instagram. People say, why do you do live streams? Live streams are boring, or they're this or that. Live stream is the only way that you can actually connect with people and answer questions. And I'm looking over and reading all of these. Thank you, Marco. I'm looking over when people are responding here. And Van Stone 2000, thank you so much. Once again, RB1 is my 30% off discount code. Joe Jeffries, who's been on here forever, I know Joe, and he says interactive TV. And that's the term I was looking for. Thank you. Joe always is there for me when I'm looking for something. And then Joe always gives me the answer. It's interactive TV. You can't talk to Jimmy Kimmel. You can't talk to anybody. Okay. Thank you to everybody on Super Chat. I appreciate that. It's hard to let me continue on with my thought here. This interactive TV is really the only thing that makes this platform different. And this is really superior to Instagram in that way. I love Instagram for the immediacy of it, and for the fact that you have these little bite-sized things that you put out there, a minute long, typical videos, or a snapshot of things that are happening at the time. That's important. But this is actually interactive TV. So let's see. Gibbo, thank you. Podcast Stage, thank you so much. Awesome. You're the best. Okinawa plays bass. Never apologize for bassist calling you out and saying Jamerson did what am I? You never apologized. I know. How is Jamerson in best rock bass tones? So I put things in there sometimes on these lists just to get people's reaction out of there. I know it's trolling a little bit, and I apologize, but thank you, Bill, very much. Thank you, 94Z07. Have I watched the Terry Kath Experience? You know what? People have actually told me about that, and I really want to watch that. Thank you, Chuck. I will watch it. I'm a huge Terry Kath fan. For those of you that don't know Terry Kath, he was the guitarist for Chicago, who died in a tragic accident with a gun. He thought it was loaded or wasn't loaded, and he put it to his head. And this was way back in 1978. Phenomenal guitarist. Jimi Hendrix was a huge fan of Terry Kath. And if you know the 25 or 6-4 guitar solo, that's not my favorite guitar solo of his. It's amazing though. Alessio, suggestion for an improvisation app. I use the iBook that has the backing tracks. They're very boring. But it's a good place to start. And you can put in things like minor 11th chords or dominant 7. You can put dominant 7 flat 13s or dominant 13 flat 9s, whatever. Let's see, Rye, Austin, Texas. Because of your channel and thoughtful influence, what makes it sound great? Your viewers will never ever listen to music in the same way again. That's the whole point of it. I really want people to listen for those things, and I have to give credit to my brother Ray, and I never really do this. I never talk about my brother Ray, or I don't talk about him that much, but I have to credit him for a lot of this because he's my next older brother. I have 4 brothers and 2 sisters. But Ray, when I was a little kid, we'd have this little cassette player with one speaker, mono, and he would say, "Do you hear that part?" Thank you, Tim. "Do you hear that part?" And I said, "What part?" And he would sing it to me, and I said, "I don't hear it." And he goes, "Well, put your ear up to the speaker." So I'd put my ear up to the speaker. I said, "I don't hear it." And he'd sing it again. It'd always be some dissonance or something, no matter what it was. And I'd say, "I don't hear it." And then eventually I said, "Oh, you mean this?" And he'd say, "Yes." And I said, "Oh, I hear that. Wow. How do you hear that?" And he says, "How do you not hear that?" And then things like, "Jay Monty, thank you." And then things like soundtracks. Ray got me into, listening to Thomas Newman, James Newton Howard. And the way he got into it is that he made family videos for everyone's birthday in my family. Anytime anyone would have a big birthday, like a 40th birthday or something like that, Ray would make a video. And he'd always score it with, famous soundtrack music. So he'd have something. He did this video of my dad after my dad passed away, but this thing with my dad where we all went out and played golf with my dad. Thank you, Elfie. Thank you, Jose. We all went and played golf with my dad in 1987, we brought a video camera and filmed it, and me and my 5 brothers and my dad were there, and Ray scored this part with just my dad. He took all the clips of my dad and put them together, and he put this really sad music, and it was, I said, what is that? He said, oh, it's Thomas Newman. And I said, that is amazing. And he said, oh, you need to get hip to these soundtracks. So he started sending me all these soundtracks to listen to. Now, I'd never listened to any soundtrack composers other than watching the movies. And early in my channel, I did a lot of sound. I would do a lot of film scoring cues. I've done 3 videos on Thomas Newman. I've done 2 or 3 videos on John Williams, James Newton Howard, James Horner, Hans Zimmer. I probably have about 15 film scoring videos. Thank you, Life O'Brien. And thank you, Sakaki. Is that how you say that? Sakaki. Sakaki? Appreciate that. So that's, thank you, Monty. That's really how I got to do this. And he turned me on to those things. Jazzco, you're the best. Bijart? Oh man, I'm totally butchering these. Hey Phil, what's up? So once again, discount in my store, RB1, 30% off anything. If you're waiting to get the Beato book, today's the day to get it. Buy a mug, buy a t-shirt. This is how I support my channel. How does it feel to get 1 million subscribers? People have asked me, and I don't really. I'll tell you a funny story. So yesterday I'm filming the Angie video, the new "What Makes Us Sound Great" video, and I had my friend Shane come over. He sang the beginning of the track, and he says he was here, and I said, well, let's talk about the lyrics for a minute. So he starts talking, and he got nervous because he's never talked in front of the camera, even though he has a YouTube channel. And he has an Instagram thing that he sings a lot on. But singing and speaking are very different. And he said, I said, why are you nervous? He goes, well, this, could be seen by hundreds of thousands of people. I said, yeah, but you're only talking to the camera right now. So thank you, David. I use BMI, by the way. And why? Because I know people at BMI, and I've already that's why I've always been there. Actually, that's not true. I was with ASCAP in the 90s. Thank you, Hannah Nathan. 800 Peds. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So that's really that thing of talking to the camera. You look at the camera and you speak to it, and you don't think about the fact that people are going to watch it. I mean, I'm here alone, sitting here talking to my computer, right? But I'm talking to everybody. Mike, thank you so much. John, thank you so much. Sam I Am, thank you so much. Sorry for asking a boring question, but Beatles or the Stones? Oh man, come on. We can't have that discussion, can we? Beatles or the Stones? Both. There's a great healthy competition between not only the Beatles and the Stones, but obviously why am I saying, okay, Brian Wilson and oh my God, Joe, where are you? The Beach Boys, sorry. Almendo, thank you. Tal, thank you so much. So I think that all the bands at the time, the bands that were creating music at the time, were really competitive with each other, and it just kept raising the bar. And if you listen to if you actually were to go and plot out what records came out when, for example, in the comments section on the Angie video, everybody's saying, oh, it sounds just like Hotel California. Well, except for the fact that Angie was number one in 1973 and Hotel California didn't come out until 1977. Okay, so there is no, if anyone was influenced by anything, Don Felder was influenced by Angie on the chord progression. Why did they not have a copyright infringement suit? Because people didn't do stuff like that. Somebody then, what was it? Somebody asked, Kevin asked, thank you, Kevin, for the donation. Thoughts on new YouTube copyright claiming changes? I'll believe it when I see it. How many instruments can I play? Only one at a time. David, thank you. The Crude Brothers. You guys are great. I appreciate that. The Crude Brothers, inspiration to YouTubers like us. That's so cool. Thank you so much. RB1 discount code, 30% off anything in my store. If you want to support the channel, buy a mug, buy a beer stein, as Aaron calls it, with the circle of fifths on the top. You can buy one of my music theory mugs or t-shirt, or buy my book. Higgly Piggly, thank you for sharing your knowledge. Oh man, I butchered that. Let's see here. I hear Angie's influence for the summer by Ray LaMontagne. I love Ray LaMontagne. Anybody that's influenced by Angie, that's fine with me. Brush Hippie, thank you. Double K, what's up? I appreciate it. You've been there since the beginning. How many people on here are seeing a live stream for the first time? I'm really curious about this. Circle of Fifths is on a beer stein. Yes, it is. Are the Who blockers? Okay, that's a great question. I'm not sure. The people that I know that are blockers, for sure that are blockers, Jimi Hendrix, Don Henley, so the Eagles, obviously Fleetwood Mac. Now, Radiohead blocked me, but then they unblocked me after I shamed them on Instagram or on Twitter. Oh, by the way, again, while I have these people on here, follow me on Instagram at RickBeato1. I put a lot of guitar videos up there almost every day. Jari, thank you so much. Phil just said everyone was influenced by Angie. That's true. So it's so funny because I do these videos, thanks, Tom, and I still think about them afterwards. So today I woke up and I was thinking, and I mean, I was thinking about these songs all the time, but I was thinking, Angie. Okay, so you have the A minor chord. Sabbath is a blocker, Jeff. Yes. You have the A minor chord. Then you go E over G sharp. So it's A, G sharp, then G. But in the middle of that chord progression, right, you have the notes. Okay, well, my amp's not plugged in here. So in the middle of the chord progression, so you've got A minor. So you have this A minor, then E over G sharp, and then you got G sus4 to G, then you've got F sus4 to F. So you have this really interesting line. Then it goes to C there. That's what makes that so fascinating, because right? That is really incredibly great chord progression. Really great chord progression. So the funny thing about yesterday's video is that we did it over the course of 3 days, which I've never done a video like that. So for those of you, somebody says, sounds almost like Hotel California. I said it earlier because you must not have been on, but Hotel California was written 4 years later. So Hotel California sounds like Angie. That's the deal there. So I'm trying to do songs that I'm gonna try and push the envelope a little bit on the blocking and see if I can get by, if I can do a Who song. That's another band. But I want to do some more modern bands. For those of you that haven't watched, hey Peter Smart, everyone. Peter's is been part of the channel forever and given me so many great ideas on videos. And Peter, I appreciate it so much. Really. DLJ, thank you so much. Sash, how do you say that? Sash, okay. Rick, I have a suggestion. Would suggest as a motivation for Tool, for a talented but not driven singer, pianist, 19 years old, struggling with my daughter. What would you suggest as motivation tool for talented but not driven? Oh man. It's hard to motivate your kids towards everything, towards anything. It's very hard. I can't motivate my kids to do anything. They play video games. That's what they like. They're not interested in playing music. And you can't give people passion. You can show them the way by showing them that you're excited about things, but you can't create inspiration in people to do things. People that come to this channel, I like to think, are very inspired by music and want to learn about music. And I think that that's really not something that you can transfer to people. You can transfer excitement. I transfer my excitement for music to people, and I don't ever lose excitement for something. Even if the song came out 50 years ago, I still feel the same way about it. It's really interesting. Angie especially, that's a tune that I always feel the same way about. I'm always surprised, even though I know everything that's going to happen in it, I am surprised. Okay, so I'll answer you. Okay, All Metal Mike. What would a Beato themed soundtrack sound like? I have to think about that. Weekend Jail. You should do a modern folk song like Andrew Jackson had or something. Modern folk punk song. I've done very little punk, and I will do punk. I actually started out with my pop punk with Blink 182 on What Makes This Song Great. I'm going to return to some of the themes of the early part of my channel, which was more of the music theory, videos on things like drumming, things, bass playing. I want to do more recording videos. And the Angie thing was really the first of that series. Now that I've opened up and I'm in my new space here, you notice that I actually played in the video. And to me, that is really exciting to be able to add that. Thank you, Simon, to add the playing element to it. And I think it makes the videos way more interesting. And by having all the stuff in my live room, thank you, Half Shark, I limited what I was able to do because I couldn't really set up a drum set and leave it set up. But now I've got my drums set up. I got my piano in where I can just put a camera on it instantly, and I can start to demonstrate different things. So I have a drum video that I've been wanting to do, talking about, well, I don't want to give away the topic here, but I have a drum video I'm going to do this week that is a very specific drum video. It's about drumming technique. It's about a drumming technique and drum sound. Griselda, thank you. I appreciate that. You're awesome. When will the Deftones be on What Makes This Sound Great? Soon. Lennon and McCartney. Both. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Mark. Okay, I got a few more minutes here. I'm going to answer questions. How to not always need a click track. That's a good one. I do take suggestions from people. My friend Peter Smart, who I mentioned earlier, Peter has given me, honestly, since the beginning of the channel, Man, Peter's been around since I was probably at 30,000 subscribers, and he would send me, he'd send me an email with titles, and they were always great titles. And I thought about it, and I would be like, wow, that was good. When the Gibson lawsuit came out, he said, you should really do something. Not the Gibson lawsuit, but the bankruptcy came out. He said, you should do something about this. Guitar Center, same thing. And he got me to actually go into topics that I hadn't covered, even though I've covered things like publishing on the channel. I've covered things about how to promote your own music. I see the thing about do a video with Jacob Collier and you're using capital letters, but I see it every time. I just hadn't said anything. I've written to Jacob Collier before, have not heard back. I can't get people on the channel that don't write back to me. The ear training course has gotten pushed back a little bit because the guy that we have doing our graphics had a tragedy in his family. So that's, yes. HK just asked about Iden. I will have Iden. I'm going to call Iden right after this, HK, and talk to him about when I can get him here for to do some episodes, because that's really exciting. I have a hilarious episode idea that I was talking to my friend Jason about that he's going to come in and do with me this week. And it's so funny. I was cracking. He had me cracking up. So, it was great. Thoughts on the next type of counterculture genre will become prominent in 2020? Hard to say. What's your forecast for the future of music? What trends are you expecting in the 20s regarding style and sounding? Pretty much the same question. I don't know. There's a whole different. There's a whole different. Thank you for the. I can't keep up with the super chat, guys. I'll look at it after and answer them. But I appreciate it so much. There's a whole new gatekeeper in music, which is the person that decides what gets played or gets put on a Spotify playlist or an Apple playlist. Those are the people that are the new A&R people, because the A&R people, the labels that signed artists, the first thing they try to do, if they can't get them playlisted, is what it's called, then they can't get any traction at radio, the little terrestrial radio that's still out there. Then it's it's interesting. So there's a whole new group of people. Okay, I'm going to go back to super chat here. Hold on. Chris, you like jazz and don't know it. Talk about super popular chill jazz hop scene, which is basically starter jazz. Talk about it. You mean do a video about it? Okay. Any love for Lee Ritenour? I think you spelled it. No, I think it's just O-R, not I-O-R. I used to love Lee Ritenour. I haven't listened to a Lee Ritenour record in a long time. Congrats on 1 million subscribers. Thank you, Roy. HK, the best. Appreciate that. Roman says, forecast for the future of music in Belarus. Yes. Jesse, type of counterculture genre. It's hard to predict those things. It really is. Very, very hard to predict those things. Any thoughts on the Tragically Hip, Half Shark? Now, my brother Ray is a huge fan of the band and has told me that I should do a video on them. And their singer died of brain cancer. What was it about? Has it been 2 years now? But my brother Ray that I was talking about earlier is a huge fan of the band. Was a huge fan of the band and saw them play up in Canada, and so I am thinking about that. Let's see here. How would you take your ear training notation theory to make it into coherent understanding? Well, I've got my ear training course is coming out. Let's see. Interview Joe Diori. I'd love to do that. Phil says, do I know Jeff McClelland and his music with Robin Ford? I'm not that familiar with it. Rick, thank you so much for sharing knowledge. You're very welcome. I mean, this is like the best thing in the world. This is really the best job in the world. Once again, I'm going to say, follow me on Instagram at RickBeato1. I have a 30% off discount on everything in my store. If you're going to wait to buy my Beato book, today's the day. RB1 is the discount code. That's how you support my channel. My video yesterday, the Rolling Stones, every one of these What Makes This songs get demonetized. All my top 20 lists get demonetized. And you know who demonetized the keyboard one? Radiohead. Radiohead demonetized the video within minutes of it coming out. They're people. I don't know what's up with Radiohead. They don't care anymore about anything. I can't figure that out, why they don't care. And I expect this stuff to be demonetized, but I don't expect to be demonetized by Radiohead. I don't know why. Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate that. Paolo, do you have any plans of making a Rammstein episode? You know, I've thought about doing a Rammstein episode. I just haven't. Let's see. Weekend Jail for punk, maybe Screeching Weasel song. Okay. I know Screeching Weasel. I've not done enough punk. I produced a lot of punk bands, and I produced a lot of metal bands. And frankly, I've not done that much on metal. Tutorial on Keith Richards tuning. Could do that, but that's. I think there's videos like that out there already. Bohemian Rhapsody. That's a great question. Okay, Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm not sure if it would be blocked. All I know about is that to do a Queen song is incredibly time consuming. If you think about, I was thinking about We Are the Champions, to be honest with you. So I'm listening to it, and I'm listening to the isolated vocals and the layering, just to talk about that, to actually, because I would have to put a sound on the keyboard with a Freddie Mercury, with a choir sound, and I would play the sounds and talk about the types of voicings that he's singing. And that's a lot to do for a video that may get pulled as soon as it's done. So imagine spending 16 hours on a video and then having it get pulled as soon as it comes out. Okay, I'm going to answer just the rest of these questions and no more here. Can I do a Sleepytime Gorilla Museum video? I could. Steve Perry Trace's album versus Perry in the 80s. I'm not going to go there. I love Steve Perry in the 80s, though. Do I like Three Dog Night? You know what? I used to love Shambhala, that song, when I was a kid. Love that song. Love that song. Okay, you guys are the best. I'm going to stop here. Follow me on Instagram at RickBeato1. Thank you, Glitch. Appreciate that. I'm gonna do some more videos on songwriting. RB1, 30% off anything in my store. This is how I make a living, is really through my store, through buying stuff. My Beato book, buy a mug, buy a t-shirt. That's really, thank you, Kevin. That's really how to support my channel. And thank you to the Super Chat people. You guys are the best. Here's to 1 million. 2 million is the next. Hopefully get there this year. That's my goal, is to get to 2 million sometime. No, not this year. Next year. Sorry. Not this year. Next year. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great, great day. Okay. Bye-bye.